Ladies and gentlemen of the internet, my name's Demigod, Shmurda here. Welcome back to another video, and today, guys, we are here on a glorified Google document telling you guys all of the reasons that Diamond and Pearl remakes are gonna fucking suck. Basically, this document is split up into 3 different sections. Unrealistic nerd expectations, for obviously all of our unrealistic nerd expectations. The things that the game actually needs to succeed, and what we should reasonably expect from the game. So, let's start with our unrealistic nerd expectations, and at the top here we have it being a Platinum remake instead of a Diamond and Pearl remake. Platinum is essentially a better version of Diamond and Pearl in, like, every way. So, just like, you know, the fact that we're all thinking Platinum should be remade, we should get Cyrus throughout the entire main story, Distortion World stuff, and we should get that instead of, you know, what we should get in a Diamond and Pearl remake, where we had Geodudes on every single route for like 10 routes straight. My personal opinion, I would love that. I would actually love that, especially because I never got to play Platinum. I've only ever played Diamond and Pearl. So, you know, having a Platinum remake instead of a Diamond and Pearl remake, it makes so much more sense, especially like for Gamefreak should do it. So, and I have it here underlined right there. Platinum remake instead of a Diamond and Pearl remake. Next up, we have Mega Evolution, specifically Mega Sinnoh starters, and I want Mega Infernape to be Fire Electric because then it fucks every water type in the game, and Infernape is my favorite Pokemon ever, by the way. Actually, my favorite, alright? But no, like, in all seriousness, Megas should come back. That is a way to instantly sell a game right there for Gamefreak. Just put frickin' Megas in the game. I gotta adjust my chair. Just put Megas in the game. Like, frickin' X and Y sold, like, really, really well. Oras sold even better. Megas sell games. So, just, and it's a feature that everyone wants back. So don't frickin', like, not include Megas because you think that, like, oh, we gotta include a new gimmick every year or so. Cause, trust me, ain't no one begging for Z moves to come back. Ain't no one begging for Dynamax to come back. Except for maybe competitive players, because, I don't know, it's a weird thing for competitive, and I don't know, I can see why people would want Dynamax back, but specifically those people they're specifically competitive players. And even then, Megas should come back anyway, because then it can bring certain Pokemon that weren't as much of a threat back into being a threatening status. Beedrill, Mawile, you don't see those Pokemon anywhere, but they have really good Mega forms, so bringing back Mega Beedrill, Mega Mawile, reintroducing Pokemon like Mega Garchomp, Mega Zard Y, Mega Lucario, and if you don't want to freaking, like, use stupid overpowered Megas like Metagross, Lucario, just ban them to Ubers and, you know, essentially give them the freaking Galarian Darmanitan, Aegislash-Dracovish treatment. The only real issue is there is no issue with bringing Megas back. Everyone wants Megas back. It's a no-brainer. So why won't Game Freak do it? Because they're too prideful to do it. And also because I don't freaking know it. No, that's the only reason. Is they're too freaking prideful to do it. Difficulty selector. This is something that is essential for the next game, in my opinion. Because Sword and Shield, I will say this to the day I fucking die, is too goddamn easy. The reason that, like, I had started my, my Wonder Shiny Lock of, Sword and Shield, or rather of Shield, and I have not touched Sword or Shield for about 2 weeks, or whenever I did my Mimikyu stream that's unlisted now, because, I don't know, I just decided to unlist it. So basically, since that stream, I haven't touched Sword or Shield because the game is too fucking easy and it bores me to death. Whereas I am loving playing Pokemon Insurgents right now because, yeah, I've got to grind a whole lot, but the battles are actually making me think, and I actually just lost like a handful of Mons in one of the gym battles in Insurgents. I actually had to think, and like when I came out of that battle, I was actually like, yeah, I just lost 3 members, and it's unfortunate that I lost 3 members, but those are 3 members that I didn't lose in the Sword and Shield playthrough, and because I think I've only had 1 total death in Sword and Shield up to, like, episode 6 or 7, whatever I'm on, and that's like the 7th or 8th gym now. And I've only died once, and it was because I miscalculated something. But no, like in Insurgents, I have to theory craft, and I actually have to freaking think, dude. Whereas in the Sword and Shield Wonder Shiny Lock, yes, I'm only allowed freaking X number of Mons, and I can only use what I get from Wonder Trade. Usually I get good shit from Wonder Trade as number 1, and number 2, the game is just too damn easy, and I end up over-leveled for every single gym, even though I don't want to be. So, I don't know. Here's a difficulty selector is such an easy way to do it, and you freaking only have to implement 3 teams for each gym leader then. So, let's see. So, 8 times 3, that's only 24 teams. That's not even that hard to freaking code. So, just make it so if they select easy mode, which will be the default, I'm thinking, will be easy mode, and then you actually have to like go into the settings and change the game to hard mode, will be Sword and Shield mode difficulty. Because and in here, you can just include the freaking stupid easy stuff for all of your 10-year-olds and your 11-year-olds, as this being their first Pokemon game. This will be the default mode. They're not going to know to switch their text speed. They're not going to know anything like that. And they'll just know, like, and they'll just have fun with the game. They'll pick it up, they'll play it for like 2 or 3 days, however long it takes them to beat the game, and then they'll put it down and never touch it again. It'll be $60 well spent, and they will have fulfilled their game on easy mode. Then you put it freaking on medium mode, and this will have gens 1 through 5 in terms of difficulty. So this will be like where it's a bit harder, but not so hard that you're second guessing every decision that you make. So this will be like your major battles, which will be your gym leaders, your Elite Four, your rivals, your champion. They'll have average levels for that point in the game in gens 1 through 5. So they'll have like, they'll have like levels 12 to 14 for the first gym. They'll have like 18, 19 for the second gym. Levels like 35-ish for the third gym. Or not for the third gym, for the fifth gym, sorry. And then they'll also have some coverage moves, and some of them will have items. You can just limit this to, like, citrus berries for giving them items, or maybe the signature Pokemon holds a magnet, or something like that. Moves don't say that they're super effective until you use a move of that type on the Pokemon. Pretty much, that's more of, like, a minor thing of, like, oh, you gotta, like, actually, like, test it out, or... But the thing is, most people that pick medium mode probably already have some knowledge of the mechanics of the game. They know the fire, water, grass, triangle, stuff like that. So they'll probably know some things, but they won't know all things. So they'll feel like if they don't show up as the move is super effective right away, they'll actually like be encouraged to test it out on certain Pokemon. And I don't know. I feel like that'd be fun. And then Cynthia's team will be like high 50s to low 60s, with Cynthia's Garchomp probably being around level 62. And having like Dragon Claw, Fire Blast, Giga Impact. It'll actually have moves. I don't know. Medium is a solid game. This is what I see as like a solid game. And then freaking hard mode, which will be the Pokemon Insurgents level of difficulty. I don't think that Pokemon Insurgents is necessarily the Dark Souls of Pokemon, because that's Radical Red, and we all know it's Radical Red, but this is like, it is a hard game, and it actually makes you use some fucking brain power and think. Major battles have higher level Pokemon, coverage moves, setup strategies, items, things like that. Basically, it would be like the totem battles from Ultra Sun and Moon, which I did a Nuzlocke of Ultra Moon, and it was actually hard to get some of those totems down. I actually remember losing Mons to Mimikyu, to Araquanid, to Kommo-o. I actually lost Mons in those trials because they had coverage moves, and also because it wasn't, I get to switch in after every gym leader. I actually prefer the totem battle strategy. It's harder to do those totem battles than it is to beat a gym leader. And again, I could just put the game on set mode, which realistically I should just do at this point, because it would make the game a lot harder. But, you know, I'm not that much of a masochist, but it was actually harder, and I actually had to like think, and I had to think, okay, if I sacrifice this Pokemon, what's in my PC? And I still to this day freaking hate myself I did Carlton the Crobat so dirty in the Komodo trial. I was like, I have another flying type in my PC. I can sacrifice Carlton, and I did. And it makes me sad, dude, because I loved using that Crobat, dude. But the thing is, it's like they'll actually have like the battles will actually be difficult again. It'll be so good just to have these difficult battles in the game. Trainers give less money and less XP. That's more of just like a, you know, a strictly like emphasizing that the game is harder thing. Moves will never say that they're super effective. This is a full-on challenge mode, and Cynthia's team will be mid-70s. I assume like 77 for her Garchomp as the ace. And it will actually have like a real moveset. It'll have hidden ability with rough skin. It'll have Dragon Claw, Giga Impact, Swords Dance, Earthquake. It'll actually have a freaking moveset, dude. This is the Pokemon game I want to play. I want to play this hard mode game, which is why I'm playing Insurgents right now. I'm actually having fun with it. Next up, we have freaking like player choice or non-linear gameplay. Free to take on all the gyms in any order that we want. Admittedly, that's a bit much to ask. I don't think that a difficulty slider is that much to ask. I don't think this is too much to ask. I don't think Megas are too much to ask. I don't think Distortion World is too much to ask. I think freely being able to take on all the gyms, that might be too much to ask. But yeah, I think this might be a little too much to ask, but like even like a little bit of player choice or non-linear gameplay. The design of the Sinnoh region is non-linear, and it encourages like you to take on Pastoria before Veilstone in certain instances, and it actually rewards you for doing so in certain instances. Like, because you take on the Water Gym and then you take on the Fighting Gym, they're the exact same level as each other, and you have more experience to go back and get that third gym badge. And it's also just cool to see, like, you having one extra gym badge in advance of, like, one of the previous gyms. It's just so sick to see that in the games. Regional variants. Personally, I actually don't want this because we already seen all the regional variants from, like, all the Sinnohmons and stuff like that. But this is a thing that people want, is regional variants. Longer and more expansive routes. If you compare the length of the routes in Sword and Shield to, like, example, Diamond and Pearl, they're, like, under half the size. Here, let me pull up. Let me go to... Here, let me move my mouse. Let me go to Bulbapedia Sinnoh. Route 214. That's the route I'm looking at. See, look at this, dude. You see this route? Here, can you actually see? No, you can't. Okay, hang on real quick. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do this and this and move this here. There we go. Live editing. Live editing. But yeah, you can see, like, this is the length of Route 214 in Sword and Shield. Or not Sword and Shield, in Diamond and Pearl. It's just a straight line. That is all it is. But you can see over here is Maniac Tunnel. Is an area I didn't even know existed in the game. And it's the only place in the game that you can find Hippopotas. And then you go down here, and that's, like, off to a post-game area. But the route is just a straight line. But if this route were in Sword and Shield, this is what the route would look like. And I honestly believe that. I saw this in a video the other day. I don't remember what the video was, but if I remember to, I'll put it up on screen now. But this is essentially what the route would be like. We would get a couple trainers here and there. There would be no hidden area over on this side. There would be no post-game area over on this side. It would be very bare bones, very minimalistic. There is like there is like nothing that would be here, and it would be really sad actually, because there's really nothing to explore on the Sword and Shield routes. And I genuinely got that in my most recent playthrough of the game, is that there's almost nothing to explore in the game. And it really does like make me sad. and it really hurts my views on the games. But yeah, no, there's little to no sense of exploration in the routes in Sinnoh, or not in Sinnoh, in Galar. The region, it's just 2 circles. That's all it is. It's 2 circles with a straight line going through it, and the straight line is the wild area. Yes, we have the Isle of Armor off to the side. Yes, we have the Crown Tundra down below. But even then, there's almost nothing in any of those areas to explore. My back hurts a little bit. But no, there's like almost nothing to explore in Galar, and it actually makes me sad. At least in Alola, there was a couple like hidden areas, like Kala'e Bay or something like that. Is like you could surf over there and find Bagon, which I did, and then I never ended up using a Salamence because I used Naganadel instead, because I got so pissed that I lost 3 Mons in Mount Lanakila. I got so pissed that I added Naganadel to the team, and I defied my normal rule of I don't use legendaries in playthroughs. New Pokemon available on each route. I alluded to this earlier. You can find Geodudes on like 7 different routes in the game. And that is not a joke. There's like 3 different sets of encounters throughout the entire game, and it's actually kind of annoying, and it actually makes me sad that that's the case. So just there's so many freaking new Pokemon in the game now. Why not just like take Geodude, take Magikarp, take Girafarig, take some of those Pokemon out of those routes and put in something like Farfetch'd, put in something like Magby or Magmar, put in more fire types for one, for sure. Put in something like, maybe put Zoroark in like a hidden area of the game. I mean, Zoroark is the actual pronunciation of it. Put Gligar somewhere. You know, do something to show off these new Pokemon, these cool Pokemon that do exist in the game. And don't just put Geodude on all the routes again. The Underground. I love the Underground feature, dude. When me and Jacob used to play Pokemon Pearl, like when Jacob still lived in my area, Jacob Sonicraft 118, by the way, link in the description to his channel. We used to like actually hang out, and we would hang out in the underground tunnels in Diamond and Pearl for hours. We would just like, we would steal each other's flags. We would set traps for each other. We would loot each other's bases. We would spend hours on our bases too. It was so sick. I remember just spending so many hours in the underground, dude. And just, it could be improved so much with the Sword and Shield graphics and just the looks and everything like that. It could be improved so much. The Underground needs to be in the game. It needs to be in the game. Post-game. Because in Sword and Shield, you get a mediocre story with Swordward and Shieldbert. And then the DLC, which, in all fairness, the DLC is kind of cool. The Urshifu Tower thing, yeah, it is just that. It is just the tower, and then fighting Clara a bunch of times and Mustard once, or a bunch of times, or actually, yeah, it is a bunch of times. It's just the tower, Clara, Mustard, and then like another hour of gameplay. And then Crown Tundra is just a legendary collect fest, which for me, I haven't done any of it yet because I want to shiny hunt all of them. Because I haven't shiny hunted legendaries in like a long time. I think I'm still hunting Cresselia and Omega Ruby, and I'm still soft resetting for it. But I did get a shiny Terrakion in Omega Ruby, actually. It was only in like 100 some encounters. It's a shiny I'm really proud of. We want a Delta episode-like thing in the post-game, though, of the Diamond and Pearl remakes. We want a Platinum episode or a Renegade episode. We want an Arceus event, because the freaking Azure Flute was never even released. We want a Shaman event. We want a Darkrai and Cresselia event. Preferably something where like you actually like battle against these creatures. It would be so sick. Regigigas, even though he kinda got something in Sword and Shield. The new areas. We want freaking post-game areas unlocked. We want a battle frontier. There's a battle frontier in Platinum, or at the very least, there's a battle tower in Diamond and Pearl. I want something like this, dude. I want all of this, and thoroughly, I expect all of it. Because most of this, freaking, especially the Shaman event and the Darkrai event and the Arceus event were all in the code of the original Diamond and Pearl games. A Renegade episode or a Platinum episode would be so sick. Just a whole story around Giratina it would be super cool, dude. A Regigigas event where you could go to freaking Snow Point Temple. Would you have all the 3 Regis? Like, all the Regis are available in the region. You go to freaking Snow Point Temple and you can catch Regigigas. The fight and resort areas. There's a third one. I don't remember. The survival area, is that what it's called? There's a ton of areas like that. You can, in Platinum, you can make your own condo in the resort area, which is so cool. And it's a feature that is, like, never talked about, I feel. So, new areas and a Battle Frontier. Because there's a Battle Frontier in Platinum. And yes, it's the same Battle Frontier as Heart Gold, Soul Silver. Just put it in the fucking game. At least put a Battle Factory in the game. Come the fuck on. At least put a Battle Factory in the game. More development in the main story. Don't pull a Miles Morales. That is the wrong thing to do. There we go. Underline it. Don't pull a Miles Morales, for the love of God. Because everyone that knows me knows I hate the main story of Miles Morales. I hate the main story of Miles Morales so much, dude. Don't do it. Don't do what they did. Don't try to condense the freaking story of the first game that succeeded so much. I'm going to move this over a little bit. Don't take the story of the first game that succeeded so much and just bring it down to its bare bones and then make the characters so insufferable that I actually stop playing the game, like, right before the end. I'm not joking. The first time that I played the first day I played the game, it was, I think I made it up to the point where Miles stupidly takes his mask off and reveals his identity to the Tinkerer. And I was like, okay, what? Why are you doing this? And then I stopped playing. And then I think I had half an hour to 45 minutes of content left in the main story. And that is not a joke. That is the last 2 missions. I quit when there was 2 missions left in the game. The Prowler fight and the Tinkerer fight. And the Tinkerer fight was kind of good, though, actually. And the Prowler fight's actually not bad. I don't know. I'll have to do it again. But the point I'm trying to make is they condensed what was a 16-hour-long story into 8 hours. And that's including gameplay and puzzles and stuff like that. That's not okay. And it's not even 8 hours. It's actually like 6 hours long. Don't do this. I cannot stress this enough. Don't do that. Please. 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 I'm not spending $60 for a game that in all realism costs me $30. I'm not doing that. Turn the Great Marsh into a wild area. Because it's already kind of a wild area, alright? It makes sense. Do it. You don't have to... Personally, I don't even think that you need to include the free roam camera if you want to cut corners that much. Because you know they're going to cut corners. Just make the wild... Essentially, turn the Great Marsh into a wild area. It would be sick! It's already set up for you. Or even better yet, include the freaking Heart Gold, Soul Silver Safari Zone where you can switch out the areas. And then if you wait a certain number of days, like... different Pokemon show up in the game and you'll get a call about it. And like I remember you have to like wait a certain number of days for Gibble to show up in the Heart Gold Soul Silver Safari Zone. It is so cool, actually. No HMs. Don't do it. Don't put the HMs back in the game. Bring back the National Dex. There's no excuse for it at this point, all right? We've gone through 2 DLCs of you adding Mon back into the game. We've gone through the Dex cut in Sword and Shield. If there's another Dex cut in the Diamond and Pearl remakes, it should not be a $60 game. It should not. But it's going to be a $60 game anyway, and we're going to get to what to reasonably expect later on. But bring back the National Dex. I want the option to skip tutorials again. That's one of the best parts of freaking Sword and Shield, is that you have the option to skip tutorials. Remove TRs, because they are terrible, unbalanced, and they make the TMs laughable. Trainer customization. Personally, it wasn't in ORAS when they did the ORAS remakes. It wasn't in Diamond and Pearl. It wasn't really in Platinum, I don't think, except for like the scarf because it took place in the wintertime. I don't care as much about this one as I do of like the story, the post game, the underground, new Pokemon on each route, longer routes, a difficulty slider. I think I care about slider more than anything else on this list. I don't really care about trainer customization all that much, but I've seen people say it. I've seen people say Sinnoh forms and regional variants too. So I guess, I don't know. That one's up to you guys. I don't really care about that one. Better updated graphics. I don't care about that one either. I actually like the way that the trees look in frickin' Sword and Shield. It gives it like a little bit of charm that's like exclusive to the Pokemon universe. And to see that people are expecting the game to look like Call of Duty, it's like Game Freak's not going to do that. That's a big one too. Don't tell us where to go every few lines of dialogue. It's ridiculous. I never realized it until I saw someone point it out in their video. I think it was the same video actually that I was alluding to earlier about things that they wanted in Diamond and Pearl remakes or things that they should have in Diamond and Pearl remakes. Of like, I think it's 4 times within 2 minutes of gameplay, I think, where they tell you to go to the Badoo drop-in and they tell you to sign in or something like that. It's ridiculous. And I've never realized it until that point. And then I've never been able to unsee it. It's just like when you realize that Bede is left-handed. You can't unsee it. Turn the fucking XP share off. I hate that you can't turn off the Gen 8 XP share. I never once turned on the XP share in Omega Ruby. I never once turned on the XP share in my Alpha Sapphire Nuzlocke. I never once turned on the XP share in Sun. I never once turned on the XP share in Ultra Sun. I never once turned on the XP share in my Ultra Moon Nuzlocke. I hate the XP share in frickin' Sword and Shield and how they force it on you. I hate it. I despise it. I literally, like, even before the games came out, I told Jacob there's not going to be an XP share and it's going to be automatic, and I hate it. That was before Sword and Shield came out. I was already saying that. And frickin' this just proved my point of how frickin' easy my frickin' Wonder Shiny Lock is, dude. And finally, this last one's on the list for me. Candace's Frostlash should fucking have Freeze Dry, dude. Let me pull up Melanie's team here on Bulbapedia real quick. Bulbapedia Melanie. You can see here, this is Melanie's team. Her Frosmoth, it has Icy Wind, Bug Buzz, Feather Dance, Hail. Her Galarian Darmanitan, yes, has Zen mode, but you're going to kill it in one hit anyway because you have a Cinderace. Icicle Crash, Taunt, Headbutt, Fire Fang, so it does get stab on that if you knock it below 50% health, which again, you're just going to OHKO it with Pyro Ball. Ice-Skew has the new ability Ice Face, which you're probably going to have a special attacker at this point, like a Toxtricity or something. Amnesia, Hail, Freeze Dry, Icy Wind, so Ice Face is bypassed. And Lapras. And this is the big one for me, is the Lapras. Because the Lapras, they remembered to give it Icy Wind. They remembered to give it Sing, which it can't even use when it's Gigantamaxed. They remembered to give it Icy Wind and not Freeze Dry. This ain't it, Chief. This ain't it, Chief. Come on. How can you make that mistake? How? I don't even understand. And the thing is, you can't... It's not even like the Lapras would be able to use it, dude. Come on, Game Freak. They remembered to give it to her Ice-Skew, which again dies in one hit. But they didn't give it to Lapras. And I'm not... I don't get how they made that mistake. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I wholeheartedly believe that's the biggest mistake in all of Sword and Shield. Is not giving the Ice-type gym leader Freeze Dry. I wholly believe that. And Sword and Shield is a very flawed game. Alright? And me saying that that's the biggest issue, yes, it's probably, like, overdoing it a little bit, but come the fuck on. How do you make that mistake? That's like not giving Archie's Mega Sharpedo a water move in Alpha Sapphire. Oh, wait. You want me to freaking show? I'm not going to show you in this video because this is about new Pokemon games and stuff like that. But come on, how do you make that mistake, dude? How? I don't get it. I don't get it, man. How? All right. Now, as you can see, this is a much shorter list. But this is everything that the game this is everything the Diamond and Pearl remakes actually need to succeed. Some element of player choice. For example, taking on Pastoria before you take on Veilstone Gym. Which I did when I did my Pearl Nuzlocke that I only lost 4 Mons in. I did do that. And you know what? I don't regret doing that. Because that's fun. Being able to take on the 4th gym before you take on the 3rd gym is fun. So at the very least, I think that they need this. They need this at the very least. A difficulty selector. With these difficulties. Obviously, this is like exactly what I said above and just abbreviated here. Obviously, they don't have to do it exactly like I said it above, and maybe they just make like this. Maybe they just make medium the hard mode, and then they make the Sword and Shield easy difficulty the easy mode, and then medium is like somewhere in the middle there. They don't have to do it like super hard like this. But I think that at least this should be the hard mode. But if this is like a step beyond that and is something that I would super appreciate, they should at least do a Platinum episode or a Renegade episode in the post-game. That is a bare minimum requirement. Because that's what they freaking did with the Delta episode. Honestly, I don't think they should have any gimmicks in the next game. No Megas, no Z-moves, no Dynamax, going back to basics, because then there's no one complaining about there being this new gimmick in the game because there's no gimmick in the game. And honestly, I think that would be so sick just to announce that there's not going to be a gimmick in the next Pokemon game. And it will be just like the original Diamond and Pearl games. And it would be so cool, actually, because now you don't have this super overpowered Mega Form from the 3rd gym onwards. Now you actually have to like work for your experience and stuff like that. It would be really cool just to not have a gimmick in the game at all. Longer, more expansive routes, and more Pokemon available on each route. This is essentially the bare minimum. This is essentially... Yeah, I'm going to put that. This is essentially the bare minimum requirements for the game. This is everything that Gamefreak should at least put in the next game. And that's... If they don't include this, then they shouldn't have made the game at all. Okay? I honestly, this is essentially just what they have and what the game should be. All right? Some player choice, a difficulty selector with at least this as the hard mode, a post game, and then this. They don't even have to do the no gimmicks, but they should at least do no Dynamax in this game. This, when I say here that this, everything that's up here is our unrealistic nerd expectations, it's because it's true. This is essentially the fan game stuff. This is the stuff that we all put in the fan games of Pokemon that Game Freak's gonna take down anyway. So why, like, this is the stuff that everyone wants, but really, this is all the stuff the game needs. And this is what we should reasonably expect. Dynamax, so that the Gen 4 remakes can connect to Sword and Shield. It is what it is. It's what we're gonna get. It's what we're gonna get. I've accepted it. This is essentially the stuff that I've accepted is going to be in the game. A game that is perpetually stuck in easy mode, with gym leaders in Elite Four that don't have coverage moves, an abundant number of TRs and XP candies before the first gym, so you can get that level 100 Cinderace before you fight, or you can get that level 100 Torterra before you fight Rourke. All the rival fights will be a fucking joke, like Hop was, and Cynthia's Ace will be level 52, and I bet it's not even going to have Giga Impact. We're gonna have the Gen 8 XP share again. We're gonna have freaking the Sinnoh region is gonna be completely changed to be 2 circles with a straight line through it. Shorter routes akin to Sword and Shield, and fewer routes. Freaking uninspired cave systems, including Victory Road and Mount Coronet, are gonna be just one room areas with 0 floors. And the outright removal of areas like Maniac Tunnel, which is the only place that you can get Hippopotas, Wayward Cave, which is the only place you can get Gibble, Fuego Ironworks, Orberg Mine, Iron Island, Snow Point Temple, the post-game areas, and the Great Marsh, because they're all optional areas that you don't need to visit in the game. They're going to remove all of this shit. All of this shit is for sure going to happen in the game because all that shit was in Sword and Shield. Little to no post-game content. We're not getting a Renegade episode. We're not getting Arceus. We're not getting a Shaman story. We're not getting a Darkrai story. We're not getting a Regigiga story. There's no post-game areas. There's no battle frontier. And you know what's going to happen. We're going to get raids again. We're not going to get an underground. Which, again, it's going to be the Underground Project has started meme that's going to pop up everywhere. There's going to be another Dex cut, or no National Dex, and then we're going to get a $30 DLC for the Distortion World. It's what's going to happen. And anyone that thinks that this isn't the eventuality of what's going to happen in Diamond and Pearl remakes is fucking stupid. And seriously has not been paying attention to the last 10 years of Pokemon, dude. It's an eventuality. This is what, like I said, this is what we should reasonably expect in the Diamond and Pearl remakes, dude. I've accepted this is what's going to happen. And that's why I don't want Diamond and Pearl remakes anymore. Because Gamefreak can't even do freaking the bare minimum requirements of giving us an element of player choice, making the game not feel linear, giving us a goddamn post-game, freaking, just making the routes longer and more expansive. Which, admittedly, they did do that in the Alola games. Most of my complaints here don't really apply to the Alola games, because there is a difficulty selector. There's Sun and Moon, and then there's Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and there's an easy mode and a hard mode. Except you gotta pay $30 for the hard mode, and it's fucking stupid. Game Freak will refuse to do the bare minimum requirements for the freaking game. We're not freaking gonna get... Oh, I closed it. We're not gonna get anything... Oh, that was an accident. We're not gonna get anything on the Unrealistic Nerd Expectations list. And again, we're gonna have a gym leader that doesn't have freeze dry on their frickin' Sigmon. This is the game. This is an eventuality. And again, that's why I don't want Diamond and Pearl remakes. Because all Game Freak is gonna do is bastardize the game I grew up on. I wholeheartedly believe that. And I genuinely, I'm not excited for the Gen 4 remakes. If they do happen. Which again, they probably won't even give us Gen 4 remakes. Alright? I've accepted this is what's going to happen. And I suggest everyone else does too. Because everyone's expecting... Again, that's why I named the frickin' top list Unrealistic Nerd Expectations. Because it's not going to happen. It's not. And this is what we're going to get in the game. And honestly, I would rather that they never touch Sinnoh again than give us another half-assed piece of shit game that was Sword and Shield. I did enjoy Sword and Shield, okay? I did. The atmosphere, the character development, even some of the Pokemon, dude, were so sick. Dracovish, Galarian Darmanitan, all the first 2 starters. Inteleon was kind of weird. But freaking, there is just so much inherently gameplay-wise that's wrong with the game that I just can't overlook anymore. And it's only because I've played these freaking games that have had so much effort put into them. Like Spider-Man PS4, that it wasn't even a Game Freak game, but if we want to talk Pokemon, like Insurgents, which is a fan game, like the freaking Gen 5 games, which I just am now getting super into because of the story, like Ultra Sun and Moon, which actually had a sick story and sick areas and fixed pretty much everything on the what to reasonably expect list. That had pretty much everything that was on the bare minimum requirements list. Just to see that Sword and Shield is such a huge step down in gameplay from Ultra Sun and Moon, and to have it cost double is fucking absurd. This is what's going to happen in the Diamond and Pearl remakes. And I don't want them. That's it for this episode, guys. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to leave a like and a comment. That'd be greatly appreciated. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, so that you can join as soon as freaking possible while I'm plugging everything else. Be sure to click the bell so that you get notified whenever we upload one of these crappy videos. But apart from that, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys. This is Demigod Shmurda.